front of the world to swear an oath of office signifying his return to the White House as the 47th President of the United States. Trump had made history in November last year as the first person since the 19th century to return to the White House after initially losing its re-election bid. Of course, his success at the polls came after a string of legal and political battles, like the case of mishandling classified document in his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida, allegation of asset falsification, payment of hush money to silence an adult film star, and many more. In fact, while he was in office during his first term, he made history as the first president to have been impeached twice and not leave office. There was even an attempt to assassinate him, and he made reference to this in his speech, saying God saved his life to make America great again. Now talk about a cat with 9 lives. Now, in line with his campaign mantra to make America great again, Donald Trump gave a speech in which he pledged to return America to the golden age. Let's listen to the excerpt of his inaugural speech 5 days ago.
The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country. Sunlight is pouring over the entire world. And America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. And I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America. It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
Well, excerpt of that 30-minute long speech by Donald Trump. He says he wants to return America to the golden age. And as he said in that speech, is hit the ground running, if you like, by signing a series of executive orders, raising questions about whether or not he wants to rule the United States by dictate. For instance, the executive order on birthright citizenship, they say an anticipated legal tussle that's going to come out of that, because they say, look, that amendment, that section of the Constitution cannot just be changed by virtue of an executive order. It's also signed an order to withdraw the United States from the climate change agreement in Paris, to withdraw the U.S. from the WHO, that's the World Health Organization. There's anticipation of what his policy is going to be regarding BRICS. He's also said he wants to end the war in Ukraine. He's talked about immigration, wanted to bring down inflation numbers, issue of diversity. He says diversity will be eliminated, and the main focus of appointment in the federal civil service would be based on merit. He's also talked about freedom of speech. Of course, his speech generated a lot of reaction because as the President of the United States, if you sneeze, the whole world to practically shiver. Your policy disposition will go a long way in shaping what the international system is going to be like. So let's just quickly do an analysis of Trump's speech. There are those who say, well, it's the worst speech they've heard. There are those who commended him, depending on the side of the pendulum you're on. There are those who compared it to the, yes we can speech of Barack Obama many years ago, or even the one by Abraham Lincoln back in the 1800s, which he used to rally people at that time. So let me bring on Prof. In 1865, yes, he titled it "With Malice Towards None, with Charity for All." So let's welcome our panelists quickly on the podium this morning. Professor Remi Ayede, Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan. Prof, good to have you. Good morning, sir. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof. Oh, can't seem to hear you. Barrister, good morning. Oh, looks like we're having a bit of a challenge here in our panelists. Prof, can you hear me? Hello, Prof. Okay, we'll try and rejoin our panelists to kickstart the conversation on the podium this morning. Of course, the Trump inaugural speech has been generating a lot of reaction. Okay, I think Prof is back online. Hello, Prof.
I can hear you. Can you hear
all
me
right.
now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Good morning, Prof.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Good morning, and good morning to our listeners. Good morning to Barrister.
Yes, Barrister will join the call shortly. We had a bit of a challenge hearing him earlier. Okay, Barrister is on the line now. Barrister?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Toba, good morning, Nigeria.
Morning. Right.
And my brother, Prof, good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, Prof, let's kickstart the show very quickly. I mean, I'm sure you've seen excerpts of that speech. He says he wants to return America to the golden age. And there are those who say, look, some of the policy disposition or the direction Trump is taking looks like, we might be returning to the bipolar international system during the Cold War, or perhaps that his policy would threaten the multilateral framework of the kind of international system we have now, as opposed to what it was like after the Second World War when the U.S. rose to become a world power. So when he says he wants to return the U.S. to the golden age, you get the feeling that that's the kind of dominance is preaching, making the U.S. the only powerful country, sort of, just like it was before the Cold War.
Yeah, when I listened to Prof's Trump's speech, what came to my mind was, does this guy have more than 4 years to govern the United States? I mean, he has spent the first 4 years and he's just going to be there for another 4 years. So how far can he go within 4 years? So I think that he's free to aspire to be excited about winning the second term, given the fact that he was pushed out of power for good 8 years. So, yeah, I think it's part of the excitement. I don't think that he'll be able to go as far as his speech portrayed. And then when you also look at the kind of decision he has taken the last few days, the amnesty to, the generally 6 people, and then the fact that he still has to deal with Congress and follow the strong institutions of the United States, he can only do so far. Then he doesn't have another term after. So I'm not too bothered about some of the...
Yeah, but is Trump somebody that we can take for granted, Prof? Because if you look at what happened when he lost election, there was somebody that was caught on tape asking the officials there to help him get more votes. Yeah, he went around saying that the election had been rigged without any proof. He's been able to overcome all kinds of legal challenges just to win elections. So there are those who say he can't be ruthless, and audacious in achieving what he wants, even if it means circumventing the law or doing what is not known to be done in an advanced democracy like that of the United States.
Yeah, but we have learned from his first term. You saw him having to change officials again and again because they were resisting some of his policies. And then even when he was in power, some of his close associates were charged and jailed. So it's if it was Nigeria, probably. But in the United States, I mean, the institutions will checkmate him. It will go far, but only so far.
But do you have concern about how his policies might threaten the power dynamics in the international system? Withdrawing the U.S. from the climate change agreement, from the WHO, because U.S. is the largest, donor to that agency. How that affects other countries, down south.
He did that before.
Yes.
So he can't. I don't think. Well, we might say, okay, it's better. He has been there for 4 years, so has an idea, how to move fast on some of these policies. But you also know that he has to first of all undo the policies that are on the ground. He has to deal with people who actually really put America first rather than him. And I think he will try, but I don't think he will go that far. Because the American establishment is strong, and business interests, those vested interests in Washington and elsewhere, they will resist him. And it's a good thing that everybody knows that he's not going to spend more than 4 years.
Let me go to Barrister now. Barrister, I mean, there are those who have tried to draw comparison between the character of Trump, the things he says, the things he does. They say he's not different from an African leader. In fact, I saw a report of a congressman, one of his supporters, who's already saying he wants to move a motion for an amendment of a section of the U.S. Constitution that would allow Trump run for a third term in office. What do you make of that?
So many things are making me laugh about the American politics.
Yeah.
But then, I think it was long predicted by Karl Marx that the time will come when the inherent contradictions in the capitalist mode of production would choke it. Like Yorubas will say, Kokoro tó ń jẹ̀fọ́, ara ẹ̀fọ́ náà ló máa wà. But having said that, let me look at the inaugural speech.
Barrister, please hold that thought. Before we look at the speech, let's just take this commercial break. When we get back, you'll be able to give your thoughts regarding that speech. We'll be back in a moment. To stay with us.
Happiness is a choice that we want you to make always. Choose to be happy. Choose 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan.
Every day when my pikin dem come back from school, I know they sabi them again. Hello, who na be? What's all this dirty uniform? With sweat cover, with dirty socks, wey been clean for morning. You don't change, oh. Anyway, I understand because I know say school na serious work. For them to come home like this means say no be small energy don't come out from them body. So therefore, I make sure I dey give them nutritious Milo for breakfast every day.
Your pikin dem need nourishing energy. Make you give them the new improved Milo for breakfast. It get correct nutrients where they support energy release to help them use their day well. Milo, energy to go further. Milo.
Báwo ni yóò ṣe rí láṣálẹ́ ọjọ́ olólùfẹ́ níbi táwọn ìgbádùn àsọ̀ọ̀sọ̀ tún wà pẹ̀lú àwọn ìrírí àwòdàmì ẹnu ìlú orin àwàdà oúnjẹ àjẹpọnulá títàmì oge síra ẹni lára àpèjẹ alẹ́ àti ìfarakínra pẹ̀lú eyín mẹ́nugún àpọ́nbẹ́pọ̀ rẹ olójú arédè ẹni bí ọkàn mi kájọ wà níbi ìdákẹ́jẹ́ ṣèrántí ọjọ́ ìfẹ́ nílé ìtura tó bá gbà mú láyàjọ́ ọjọ́ alẹ́ olólùfẹ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ mà ní iléeṣẹ́ rédíò 32 FM 94.9 àti ilé ìtura Galani Suite Hotel ti tẹ́ pẹpẹ ìrírí ọ̀tun fáwọn olólùfẹ́ tó ṣetán àti títaná ìfẹ́ kó jò fún tọdún 2025 ọjọ́ kẹrìnlá oṣù kejì ọdún 2025 látàgò 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ títí dòwúrọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì gbẹ̀rẹ́ pẹ̀lú ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà àádọ́ta náírà 50,000 naira péré fáwọn olólùfẹ́ ẹ máa bọ̀ ní Galani Suite Hotel ó wà ní Jericho nílùú Ìbàdàn ẹ pè Dénìkẹ́ sórí ẹ̀lú 0814-761-4024 tàbí Sami 0703-786-8205 àṣálẹ́ àyájọ́ ọjọ́ olólùfẹ́ wọ́n sọ fún ìfẹ́ mi pé ìwọ ni iyọ̀ ayé mi àdọ́gbàdélẹ̀ olólùfẹ́ mi labalábá bà lódòdó òdòdó ń bínú èwo lẹ́tún ní labalábá òṣè gbogbo èrè dọjọ́ kẹrìnlá oṣù kejì pẹ̀lú ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 àti ilé ìtura Galani Suite Hotel àyájọ́ ọjọ́ olólùfẹ́ wọ́n sọ fún ìfẹ́ mi pé ìwọ ni iyọ̀ ayé mi.
alájẹṣẹ́kù kò ní bàjẹ́ o oríta Báṣọ̀run Ìbàdàn ìlera lọ́rọ̀ cooperative investment and credit society limited tọkùnrin tóbìnrin ẹ wá darapọ̀ mọ́ wa kájọ máa ṣàjọṣe tí yóò máa mú èrè jáde láìpẹ́ ọjọ́ o.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o kábàṣírí ara ẹni lẹ́gbẹ́ alájẹṣẹ́kù fi ń wò mí ẹ̀yin ẹgbẹ́ alájẹṣẹ́kù oríta Báṣọ̀run Ìbàdàn ìlera lọ́rọ̀ cooperative investment and credit society limited alájẹṣẹ́kù tó ń ṣèrànwọ́ fọ́mọ ẹgbẹ́ láti gbàdégbà ni gbogbo èèyàn ló láǹfààní láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa kájọ máa ṣe nítorí èrè tí ó mú jáde ò kéré o kára ó tu gbogbo ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ náà ṣe gbé kalẹ̀ kọ́mọ ẹgbẹ́ rówó ṣòwò rówó ṣiṣẹ́ rówó tọ́jú ara fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ẹ kàn sí ilé ẹgbẹ́ wa tó wà ní block B shop 37 and 38 Islamic shopping complex oríta Báṣọ̀run Ìbàdàn ẹ tún lè pe ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 070-716-88889 tàbí 070-1670-7783 alájẹṣẹ́kù ni kò ní bàjẹ́ a máa retí yín o.
ẹgbọ́n eléyìí.
kọ́rẹ́sì lélẹ́yìí o ṣẹ́sì mọ́ bóyá tó ń jẹ́ kílẹ̀ jura wọn.
ẹgbẹ́ pẹ́lẹ́ ìwọ.
ẹ bá jò já bọ́lẹ̀ o.
èyí tó ń kọ́.
ó yá jọjọ yìí o.
ókè ẹ tún gbà. ṣé ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́ bí ẹ ti máa gbọ́ oríṣiríṣi orin kẹ́sì máa ń yan àìgùn tí máa sì máa gbà sí lára pẹ̀lú àwàdà tí ẹ fẹ́ yìí ẹ pàdé ọ̀rẹ́ yín Akeem Hamzat alómilámù gbà ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Friday.
ní agogo ọ̀sán di ago méjì ọ̀sán.
bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ wo ẹ tí ì rí kankan èèwọ̀ láàyò lẹ́tọ̀ eléyìí kó máa ṣàgàtẹ́rìọ̀s.
kò bá jẹ́ 24 29 tàbí 32 ṣáà ti fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wa lórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kàn tẹ 32 FM 949 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀.
Hello, abeg no vex. This Milo packet look different too. I see say dem write support energy release for this packet. Abeg, na the same Milo?
No, this na the new improved Milo. The support energy release means say when you give your pikin dem Milo as part of their breakfast, you dey give them enough energy wey dem need to go school.
Ah, I like this one.
Your pikin dem need
and I need a kind of funding model where they are able to clear this debt. We on our own part, we hold our management responsible and we're doing our best to make sure that everything's fine.
Right. On Facebook, Akimbayo Joshua Yodeji says, I love the professor on the program. The issue is corruption in the leadership of universities. Leadership of universities, instead of selling innovation, they believe either the government funds the institution or the students bear the full cost. God bless Prof for being truthful and speaking up. If we have many people like Prof in our institution, we would not be in this mess. Imagine UI paying billions for darkness to IBEDC. Don't you think it should be an insult to the institution that produces engineers? Hello. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. The youth from Monia.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask the HCG there.
Yes.
He said that the government is fulfilling its promises by giving the loans to students, but Prof debunked it that no. So whose report are we going to believe?
I didn't say that the government is fulfilling it.
If the student obtained the loan for 4 years course, he has not told us how the students will repay it back. That's my question.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can clarify now.
I did not say that the government is fulfilling its promise by giving the loan to students. In fact, what I have said is that if the government has money to pump into the educational sector, the government should pump the money directly and not ask people to borrow the money and pay to the universities on their behalf.
Perhaps maybe the party caught was when you said 4,000 students have benefited. Maybe you should clarify that based on the data available to you.
Over 4,000 students took NEL fund. in the University of Ibadan, and they've gotten the loan. I can confirm.
All right.
That is on one side. But that still doesn't change the fact that we believe, or I believe, that if the government has money to pump into the educational sector, you don't tell people to borrow it. You pump it directly. And as regards how they are to repay the money, actually, in the terms of the loan, the money is to be repaid 2 years post NYSC. So, and I think about 2% every month or something. And if someone is not at that point in time gainfully employed, the person can write to NEL Fund to say that currently I'm not gainfully employed, I can't start paying now, and they will reschedule the time of payment. So I think that's.
But again, there are trust issues in the Nigerian system. You know, I think Barrister already said that some of the loans will go into bad debt. I remember during the Buhari government, there was this COVID-19 loan support scheme that some people took. It went into bad debt. There are reports that many people have not repaid that loan. So, I mean, do you think that based on the current Nigerian system, people would genuinely write to NEL Fund and say that I cannot pay this money now? Or what even happens after 2 years? I mean, 2 years after NYC, people are still trying to find themselves in the market, trying to look at what's next for them, you know, to put body and soul together, basically.
It remains to be seen what would happen after all of this loan is taken, because the government is trying to take data collection very, very serious. So it's easy for people, or it was easy for people to escape loans all of those times because there is no strong data. But I think in this 2025 budget, President Tinubu has allotted a lot of money to collecting data, census, and all of those things. So that means that they would have more of your data. They are able to track you if whatever, or if the need be. So the possibility of the loan becoming a bad debt, I do not know.
Yeah.
This is Nigeria, and the government might at this point in time again be serious. So it remains to be seen what will
And that says a lot about ourselves as Nigerians, because if we are blaming the government for being corrupt, and we obtain money from the government and we're not paying back, that means we're as corrupt as the government. Barrister, yes.
Toba,
yes.
Yes. There's a clarification I want from Prof.
Okay.
We have agreed that money due to the university in terms of fees and what have you goes into the TSA.
Yes.
And the argument of government was that they wanted the universities to be self-sufficient and self-funding.
Yes.
I want you to make clarifications on how the universities are now being funded. Do they have access to their money? The government still gives them subventions and allocations. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
please, I want clarification.
Yes, because if the money goes directly into TSA, how do they get their funding, Prof? Hello, Prof.
Yeah, I think I made that point that that the money goes into TSA does not mean that the university cannot draw it. I think that there are processes through which some of the funds get back to the university. Because every university has an account in TSA. Even when you are paying money to the university, there are multiple accounts, multiple headings that you have to pay to, because there's fees, there's orders, there's accommodation. All of them have headings, and then you pay to the
Prof, my worry is this. You know, Yorubas will say something. If you give somebody a goat, why do you continue to hold on to the rope? If you want the universities to be self-financing,
yes,
let them pay their money into their own accounts now. Why TSA again?
No, remember the point that I've always insisted on, that the reason why government is able to do all of these things is simply because there are cases, in fact, if not significant cases, of maladministration within the university. That's why the university couldn't defend themselves or insist that these things can't happen. Because there are cases of mismanagement of funds within the university, there are cases of pocketing of IGRA, there are cases of overstating the number of staff for which the government is supposed to pay their salary, and then they find out that those people do not really exist. So there are all kinds of corrupt activities that went on that caused the implementation of the TSA. The same thing with the IPPIS. We had to fight seriously to get us back into the management, financial management system we are currently using. And it was because President Tinubu decided to do so. Otherwise, it was extremely very difficult for university administration to resist such move by government, because government holds them by the jugular on the basis that they are not accountable, that there is mismanagement or misapplication of funds at the university level. So this, and then of course mismanagement of information as well. These are the things that have made it possible for government, an unaccountable government at the federal level, to now encroach into the university system and dictate government. I mean, for instance, the appointments are done from the departmental level, because that's where the talent is. So those who are there know those who have graduated, or those who are within the disciplinary community, and they can bring people in. But what has happened is that they saw that there was a lot of local abuses, and the federal government made it impossible for universities to now recruit. So we have to start fighting again to say, no, this new approach will not work. But when they decided to introduce those centralized systems, they had arguments against university authorities, and many vice chancellors and councils could not resist nor argue against the public servant or government officials who introduced these strange things to the university system. So we really need to keep our house in order for us to be able to resist external interference and intervention, which, as it turned out, did not favor us. In fact, we were better off managing and struggling with our corrupt system and fighting internal battles to clean up the university system, rather than handing it over to the federal government. Because there are many, you stay in your universities and then somebody just report and say that it's now a staff of the Department of Political Science. And then you have to deal with that.
Okay. All right. On Facebook, Akimba Joshua already says, imagine levying students 20K because of paying IBDC, which is recurrent. What happens to levying students the same amount to have a final solution to this problem? So we're wrapping up now, Barrister. Let's get your final round of questions and comments as we wrap up on the podium today.
Well, Bolaji,
sir,
there is something we do on this program.
Okay.
It is therapeutic. Okay. As a form of therapy. This is the laughter station. We make you laugh before you go.
Okay.
So I want to make you laugh a little bit.
Okay.
The way you mentioned President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it was so student union government like. Are you APC?
No. I'm non-partisan.
Okay.
Oh, they're sure. Let
me tell you a small story, Barrister.
Yes.
The environment in the university has changed so significantly that our students call us daddy and mommy.
Well, perhaps, Prof,
So
maybe because maybe because Prof, maybe because the university system has coerced them to be more docile. That's why they don't want any trouble with the management. That's why they call you daddy and mommy. Yes. Okay. So on Facebook, Poopchu AK says, "Morning Toba and the entire panelists. I really want to appreciate the Student Union President of UI for being very vocal and authoritative in the response to the question to prove his great potential to go into proper leadership after graduation. They are preparing you for leadership already. More grace to your elbow, where my intellectual stimulus was broadened to the core." So, Prof, your final comments and questions to wrap up.
Yeah, I think I just want to thank Bolaji Aweda for his contribution this morning. I know that as leader of Student Union, they face a lot of challenges, not least from management, but it's their responsibility to speak truth to power. And I hope that he will continue to do that, both within and outside the university.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Certainly, people are looking up to you to speak truth to power, especially in the current economic situation, which is affecting, because you said you care about the welfare of students. I mean, it's affecting the welfare of students, affecting the welfare of their parents who are sending these children to schools. So we expect you to speak truth to power more.
God's grace will continue. So.
Thank you so much, Bolaji Aweda, for joining us on the podium today. All the best with your activism and advocacy for, restoration of power in UCH. Just before you go, you said that you were giving an ultimatum. So what's your next move when the ultimatum expires?
On Wednesday during the protest, the asked us to give to Friday. And on that day, we even said that we would give even the weekend.
All right. So this is the weekend.
This is the weekend.
So we should expect something
So
from
after
you on
the
Monday.
weekend, we'll decide on our next move.
All right then. All right. Thank you so much, Prof and Barrister. Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on the podium today. It returns next Saturday, 9 a.m. right here on 32 FM 94.9. Special thanks to my producer, 𝐷𝐿 in Moscow. My name is OLORUNTOBA YUSUF. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday morning. Bye for now.